The Tamil Tigers, a guerrilla organization, sought to establish an independent Tamil state, Eelam, in northern and eastern Sri Lanka. Yes friends, today I will talk about LTTE. In my previous video, I talked a bit about them. I will tell you in detail in today's video. And those who are new to my channel, if you want to see videos like this, please subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon, so that as soon as I upload a video, you will be notified. The LTTE was founded in 1976 by Velupillai Prabhakaran, as a successor to an organization earlier in 1970s. The LTTE became one of the most sophisticated and tightly organized insurgent groups in the world. During the 1970s, the organization carried out several guerrilla attacks. 13 Sri Lankan soldiers were killed by Tamil guerrillas in 1983. After a retaliatory attack by the Sri Lankan military, large-scale fighting broke out between the government and the LTTE. Now let me tell you why LTTE was formed. The original inhabitants of Sri Lanka believe that Tamils migrated from India and settled there. So against the Sri Lankan Tamils, the persecution by the Sinhalese masses continued. They could never accept the Tamils as residents there. Rather, Tamils were considered refugees. The Sri Lankan government was also indifferent in this regard. Also, from the government side, no developmental work has been undertaken for them. Anti-Tamil violence became evident, particularly during the anti-Tamil program of 1977, and the burning of the Jaffna Public Library in 1981. During the month of July of 1983, the anti-Tamil program by the Sinhalese mob became known as Black July. However, by then the LTTE had been formed, and they had become very active. During this period, the LTTE was widely regarded as the most influential Tamil militant group in Sri Lanka. It also emerged as the most feared guerrilla force in the world. Although they initially started as guerrilla forces, they gradually evolved into full-fledged armies. It then formed a navy, an airborne unit, an intelligence wing, and a special suicide attack unit. And all this was happening under the leadership of Velupillai Prabhakaran. The LTTE popularized and perfected the use of suicide vests as a weapon, a technique now used by many current militant outfits. The LTTE gained notoriety for using women and children in the war, and for carrying out several high-profile assassinations, including those of 1991, former Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, and the President of Sri Lanka. 33 countries, including the European Union, Canada, the United States, and India, designated the LTTE as a terrorist organization. During the conflict, the LTTE often engaged in intense military clashes to wrest control of the northeastern region from the Sri Lankan military. The LTTE sat in 4 failed peace talks with the Sri Lankan government. LTTE lost control on Jaffna in October 1987 by Indian peacekeeping forces. In March 1990, after the withdrawal of Indian peacekeeping forces, the Tigers increased in strength, and conducted several successful guerrilla operations. And in a terrorist attack on May 19, 1911, former Prime Minister of India, Rajiv Gandhi, was killed by a suicide bomber while campaigning in the Indian state of Tamil Nadu. Attacks included a landmine explosion in 1992, Jaffna, on August 19, which killed 10 senior military commanders. May 19, Tirunaboi, Sri Lankan President Ranasinghe Premadasa assassinated. In January of the year 1992, a suicide bomber attacked the central bank of Colombo, killing 100 people. And in July 2001, the attack on Colombo's international airport, which destroyed half of the country's commercial aircraft. An elite unit of the LTTE, the Black Tigers, was formed to carry out suicide attacks. Inevitably, when faced with capture by the Sri Lankan army, the operative, and others, would commit suicide by swallowing cyanide capsules worn around their necks. In December 2000, the LTTE declared a unilateral ceasefire, which lasted only until April. Thereafter, fighting between the guerrillas and the government intensified again. 2006, the European Union added the LTTE to its list of banned terrorist organizations. Soon after, fierce fighting broke out between rebels and government forces, and thousands of people were killed. In January 2008, the government formally abandoned the 2008 ceasefire agreement, and in the months that followed, the authorities seized the LTTE's main strongholds. The town of Kilinachi, the administrative center of the LTTE, came under government control in January 2009. By late April, government troops had cornered the remaining LTTE fighters in a small part of the northeastern coast. A final offensive by army forces in mid-May succeeded in capturing the last rebel stronghold. On 18 May, Sri Lankan army achieved final success. That day they killed LTTE Velupillai Prabhakaran. The number of LTTE fighters has never been definitively determined, and the number has undoubtedly changed over time, as the fortunes of the organization have risen and fallen.